Good morning, afternoon, evening, ladies, gentlemen, rovers. Today's video is probably the most insane piecing together to find the reference material for something in Wuthering Waves. Specifically, to find the elements and personality or role of each Fractsidus Overseer. Keep in mind, this is just a theory, but everything is based on material from the game and what we know about Kuro games. So because this information is kinda wild and making precise predictions, first I'll show you how I arrived at the information, then we'll cover the details for each Fractsidus Overseer. And you can use the timestamps if you just want to skip to the juicy bit. Let's start with Culcharo's splash art and profile art. The biggest question when I first looked at Culcharo's strip marketing was that he had a very basic broadblade in his art. This is literally the 2-star Ginger Broadblade. For a character that was the most hype before release, I found this to be rather strange. Well, it turns out, Gian recommended that Culcharo change his attire to what he currently has to fit in with Jinjo. Stay with me now. You've probably also noticed that Scar and Geshulan have the same tacit mark. This has sparked many theories around what the connection is. Are they the same? Is Scar the son of Geshulan? And things like that. But I'm not here to give a full theory on that. I'm just here to remind you of this as a piece of the bigger picture. Finally, we have the chair at the top of the tallest mountain in Jinjo, which has been confirmed as an Easter egg reference to Devil May Cry and their character named Virgil. Fans of the game will remember that this chair became a meme when someone modded a plastic chair in place of what was really there. And so throughout Wuthering Waves, there are many more Easter eggs and references to the Devil May Cry series, with Solon even pulling out Virgil's signature move in a special program. Now you probably realize where I'm going with Culcharo, Geshulan and Scar. Let me explain. Virgil is the older twin brother of Dante. Virgil carries the Yamato, which is a katana with incredible power. Dante, who is the younger twin brother, has a thick broadblade greatsword type weapon. These aren't the only weapons that these characters use, but they are the main ones. Geshulan is seen with a katana style weapon that transforms into a thick broadblade of its own. And this cutscene also suggests that Geshulan has an alternate form, just like Virgil has a demon form called Sin Devil Trigger. And there are a few more similarities you can do or parallels you can do between these two characters. And this led to the thought that maybe, as fans of the DMC series, Kuro have created their own characters with their own unique stories, but the tacit mark link between Geshulan and Scar is an Easter egg indicating, hey, DMC inspired the stories of these characters. And Culcharo would be similar to Nero. Nero is the son of Virgil but was looked after by Dante. Nero also went from one organization to another, like Culcharo has gone from being a mercenary to trying to fit in with Jinjo. And Nero also has a demon form like Culcharo has a tacit form. Whether this is true or not, we don't know. But to entertain this thought, I wondered, what if their design is not about referencing Devil May Cry? What if Kuro are referring to the same literature that the creators of DMC have used? And this is when I hit the jackpot for the Fractsidus Overseers. Devil May Cry takes heavy inspiration from a poem known as the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri. This is a poem divided into 3 parts, as the main character Dante travels through the Inferno, Purgatory and Paradise. So this would be like hell, purgatory and heaven. During Dante's journey, he is guided by a character named Virgil. Dante and Virgil are both well-known Italian poets, and some of Roman mythology is attributed to Virgil, mainly in his poem the Aeneid. The answer to the Fractsidus lies in the first part of the Divine Comedy, Dante's Inferno. The Inferno describes Dante's journey through the 9 layers of the underworld, each layer acting as a realm, and the further down you go, the more severe conditions you'll encounter. The first layer is limbo, the next layer is lust, then comes gluttony, followed by greed and then anger. 6th is heresy, 7th is violence, 8th fraud, and the final and 9th layer is treachery. Of the three Fractsidus members we know of well enough, Frolova, Scar, and Cristoforo, each one of these relates to a layer of Dante's 9 Circles of Hell. Frolova is clearly Limbo as she has the title. Scar's alternate form includes Aberrant, which by definition would be heresy, and even his realm fits the appearance of a flaming pit. Cristoforo has similar traits to the Norse god Loki, who represents treachery. So now the theory becomes that each of these layers in Dante's Inferno represent and form the basis for each Fractsidus Overseer. So for example, Frolova's basis would be Limbo, and we know Frolova's story includes the Lost Beyond and Hecate, and every time there's an underworld theme with Hecate, it's instead replaced by Limbo or the Lost Beyond. Now to prove this theory, I looked at a very old game called Dante's Inferno for obvious reasons as the game is based on the poem. And this is what solidified the theory. Limbo follows Frolova's outline of the Lost Beyond and the journey through the fabrication area, and the Realm of Heresy has a boss inspired by Baphomet, which is the same as Scar. So the beauty of this for Kuro games is that we can look at Dante's description of each layer to figure out the attribute of each Fractsidus Overseer. So in total there should be 9 Fractsidus Overseers, and the Fractsidus Overseer of Lust I would imagine as an attractive and seductive female whose attribute is aero or electro, as the souls here are endlessly blown and spiraling in winds of a violent storm. The Fractsidus Overseer of Gluttony I'd imagine is something similar to this Fractsidus enemy because they devour, and the attribute would be Glacio as the souls in Gluttony suffer the coldness of a ceaseless icy rain. The Fractsidus Overseer of Greed has a pit of smelting gold, so they would be Electro or Fusion. The Fractsidus Overseer of Anger described having a realm with a murky swamp could be Havoc. The Fractsidus Overseer of Violence, based on the 7th layer where souls drown in a lake of boiling blood, would be Havoc or Fusion. The Fractsidus Overseer of Fraud, based on the description of a pit of darkness, endlessly beaten and tortured, could be Havoc or Aero. And the final layer, being Treachery, which would be the basis of Cristoforo, represents an Iceland. Maybe even the realm that Rove is a slumber in before the start of the game would be Glacio. This isn't to say that Cristoforo created the area Rove is in when you log in, it's just that the idea is from the same source. Of course, this is just a theory, and I don't think the layer order is an indication of the Overseer ranks. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next video.